So this is part 3 of our 7 parts to being a self-employed estate agent. If you missed the other ones, we've already covered why do it and who can't do it. This one is what the agent gets as a self-employed agent. And we're going to talk about what they get effectively for their 30% share. We are ultimately a service provider to business owners that happen to be estate agents, and what they get for the 30%. So we'll be raw and honest on this video. We'll talk about how much we spend on salaries, how much we spend on marketing, and then we'll also talk about, I guess, the blueprint and obviously the basic services. But I think the first thing to cover is let's just fire through that kind of like list of stuff that ultimately Avocado Property as a HQ pays for. We don't need to talk about the numbers on it, but what do we pay for that the agent gets direct access to that they don't have to pay for? Rightmove, Zoopla, obviously being, the portals that we advertise on. What other bits are on there?
So the portals are the big barrier to entry from someone who wants to do it themselves. We're taking that fixed cost on. But on top of that, you've got class-leading CRM in Lifecycle, which is not just a CRM, it's a nurture system. It's a very, very expensive piece of kit, but it works at scale, which is what we've got.
Yeah.
And then once you've got your CRM, which feeds into the portals, you need your marketing systems, which is your part of the game.
Yeah, so what we effectively set up with the individual partner when they're joining is how to build their Facebook page out correctly, how to build their Instagram page out correctly, what to use LinkedIn as, how to work with LinkedIn, all of the different brand assets that go towards it. And then once we've connected all of the kind of organic social media stuff up, we then build out what's called the ads manager. So the meta part of paying for your posts, your content to be here, there and everywhere. So we literally do that with the agent for them effectively. So it's almost like you would go and spend, I think it cost me £1,200 initially to learn how to do all of that. Rather than going and learning how to do that on YouTube or paying for the course, we literally do that face to face with the agent and make sure it's set up properly. That's a big part of the digital marketing. Then the other little services that obviously we're paying for, everyone gets a Sprift account.
Yep, data provision within Sprift and 20EA, which are
great bits of kit.
Unbelievable for stats. If you're someone who likes to list properties and talk to their clients based on pure statistics over emotion, then 20AA and 20EA and Sprift, I haven't seen anything better in the market, and that's why we provide them to our licensees.
And again, we always talk about how does it benefit the client. The benefit to the client from a Sprift point of view is just that the data's phenomenal, but also the way it's presented, I think, makes it really easy. So it can be PDF, it can be portal-led. If you haven't used Sprift before and you're an agent going into the living room with a Sprift report versus an agent that's not, I think you got the edge. So 2 great bits of kit. Then you got all the basic stuff like access to Metro Picks. But also from a compliance point of view, and this is looking at it more this year than I've looked at it previously, I worry that maybe the self-employed industry is not as compliant as it should be. Just in and around kind of hearing what some of the other models are doing, some of the other agents I'm talking to that maybe they don't take it quite as seriously as we do. But I remember being flagged down by that guy from Mint at one of the conferences that we went to. Gave me a run in bandana, which is actually in my boot for my next run, funnily enough. And little things like that, building those contacts with people that other agents may not have been able to do, that's really helped kind of shape the way that when an agent launch, we give them access to an introduction like that, which saves them money, but most importantly, make sure they're compliant just on their insurance alone.
Absolutely, yeah. Within any model, most models, you're going to be a licensee or a franchisee of what that business is promoting. So your PI insurance needs to back into the head licensee, the franchisor, as well. So we've got that relationship with Oliver Warmby at Mint, who's an unbelievably knowledgeable chap. If you need to ever know anything about PI, it can go on for days. But it's really, really important that when people are starting their own business, they're put in the hands of experts rather than just left to find the cheapest or easiest option, which is out there on the internet through Google.
Yeah.
Having a robust anti-money laundering process, which again complements the group, is really, really important. And having somewhere where that's done through an outsourced agency, which then gives you the liability on it, is perfect. So those things are all thought out properly, so you can walk in on day one, learn and understand the process and get working, rather than have to write your own. You can just adopt our policy, walk straight into the AML compliance hub and start working, rather than have to do your own and wonder, which is the problem with the whole system, wonder whether you're compliant until the audit comes up.
Yeah. So compliance, not only do we help point people in the right place, we've got the compliance checklist. We try and almost like force that on people to make sure that that's right before it happens. The other big part is the big like launch, the big sexy part, you know, getting the videos out there and kind of how do I launch my business? How do I put it out there right? We spoke about how we set up the structure of social media pages and ads. But with a launch comes a professional video, and people will have seen those and go, I can't make that. And then also with every single Avocado partner is the property videos. You know, day one, someone doesn't know how to open up Premiere Pro and video edit. I didn't, you didn't.
No.
Every partner that joins pretty much doesn't. So there's that part of it as well. But what we make sure from a contribution point of view for each agent that joins is we have a commitment to get them through the first year. That's ultimately our goal, because we know financially it's going to be the most difficult. So they don't pay a license fee for the first 12 months. There is zero that they pay us for the first 12 months from the kind of subscription of being part of Avocado. Then that's £200 a month from month 13. But also we pay for their video editing for the first 6 months. I think that's really important. It shows an intent for us to say we're going to invest in that agent. If we're agreed and we say yes, we shake hands, which we probably say yes to 25% of the people that we speak to. So it's a low barrier. It's a high barrier to entry. Very low number of people that we speak to that actually get through the door and become part of the brand. But we'll also commit to paying for their video editing on their properties for the first 6 months, so that they're not putting money into that, so that they can focus on their bills. I think that's important. But the team is a big thing, because 4 years on, we're sat here in a podcast studio in HQ, which any agent can use. There's a meeting room next door, which is where people will have seen the neon Avocado lights, which they can use as well. But the other side of that window that the cameras can't see, we've got a team. So we're just going to be transparent. In 2024, we're in the middle of June, what are we going to spend on salaries as part of that 30% that they get?
These are the bits that Ian doesn't get to see on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
I've got a number written down. Let me write it down and see if it's right.
Okay, so our head office salary count is about £400,000 a year.
I'd written 340, look. 340, so I'm 60 grand out.
Yeah, inflation, unfortunately.
There we go.
The marketing budget that we spend, which doesn't include salaries, on marketing the brand, the business, the Google ads that you do, the retargeting that you do, costs us £125,000 a year. That's free marketing for our estate agents. And
when we showed an agent yesterday our Google search ad, which effectively, for anyone that doesn't know what a Google search ad means, if someone in your patch, once you're part of Avocado, types in online valuation in X town, our ad will pop up on an auction basis, and then we will effectively piggyback off of something like a Zoopla house price calculator and drive people with data straight into the database. And we've got over 5,000 of those in the database, and we spent nearly £9,000 on just that ad set alone. So people are getting data from the brand, not just themselves, plus all the retargeting and the other 125 grand's worth of spend that comes in. And they've got the team behind them as well. You know, we talk about those commercial videos. We booked in one for next Thursday, what we call a down the lens. If anyone's interested in becoming a partner and you've kind of watched those videos of each agent, that's a whole day, 2 videographers, all the kit, all the camera kit, all the audio kit, systematic structure of how to set up shoot scenes. I help with the scripting as well. Callie helps with the scripting as well. And that partner gets a professional commercial for free. Just our investment into them. as part of that team, and then obviously the support that comes therefore after. So you've got like this 400 grand team behind you that are making sure your website's operational, the system's going on right, everything is happening as it should be, with a huge sort of part of that team. And I think that's probably not spoken about enough from our point of view, because that's a huge USP for the agent when they come to launch, that they've got that firepower behind them. Really.
And then we've got operational costs, the boring stuff,
Yeah.
which is in excess of £125,000 a year.
What sort of stuff does a partner get that benefits from that?
Anything that makes the business work, just to sit in this building, for a start, costs an awful lot of money on a monthly basis, but it's required, it's needed, and as you say, you can use it as a service to come in here and work from, to record, to come and sit with a marketing team, everything that it costs just to keep a company running. How do your phone calls get answered? Well, that's the answer. £125,000 somewhere in there. So if you're watching this wondering about opening the brokerage rather than being a self-employed agent, you've just found out how much it costs a year in 2024 now to run. 2025 will be a totally different story. Yeah.
And it's not done on a shoestring. We are very much committed as kind of the founders of Avocado to make sure that there is budget every single year that goes into this stuff, goes into the national brand advertising. And I think that's important, because although we're sitting here and explaining things, you won't see much of me and you shouting about recruitment all the time.
No.
We don't DM people. You know, we're not going in people's DMs. We're not soliciting on email or anything like that. What we are doing is talking to the public. We're generating traffic to the Avocado website, to the Avocado Partners socials, which then results in more business going into different towns, which makes it easier for the agent. And we know that if we bring sellers and landlords and buyers and tenants to the brand through what we're doing with things like, you know, the book that cost thousands of pounds to put together, and then roll that out, that then makes it easier for the agent. So that's where all of that money's going into things. And I think it's important that we share that and be open with it, because I don't think a lot of the other models have got that level of spend for the amount of agents that, you know, we're working with. So that is what the agent gets. 70% of the sales fee, 100% of the cross-selling. Obviously, there's a split on lettings as well. So if someone wants to generate their lettings business, we can do all the compliance, all the move-in part of it, the property management part of it. And there's pretty much a decent split in terms of what they get from that. If you want to know more around what those numbers are, you can obviously always reach out. And the access to everything and the support and all the marketing. So, I mean, where do I sign? Part 4, what are the types of models? And you spoke about this yesterday. So we're going to cover, there's an A and a B in our eyes in self-employed brokerage models. So in part 4, that's what we're going to discuss, the types of self-employed models when you're making and shopping around and making the decision on who you go with. And we'll do it unbiased as well, as best we can.
Yeah.